Greater Washington DC chapter of American Society of Nepali Engineers. We at American Society of Nepali Engineers, and especially in the Greater Washington DC chapter, we try to provide a good forum for the issues that matters to Nepal, to US, and to the globe. And we try to invite an expert on the field so that we can get the real thing whose expertise are unquestionable to us. To start the programs, I have to inform you that Mr. Ambassador will not be here today. We were talking with him since the very beginning of the program. We were told that he would send a representative from embassy, and we haven't seen here anybody. So we would introduce anybody from embassy if we see him. And to start the program, I would like to call our, since this is a presentation, we don't want to have anybody in the dais to make it more visible for the people in the dais. So I will call our presenter and the dignitaries to come and then be on this side of the table, so that way we will have a good presentation. I would like to request Mr. Thakur Dakal, the current president of our chapter, to come to this side. I would also like to invite Professor Dr. Jagannath Shrestha to come to this side of it. And Dr. Raghunath Lamsa, the inside of it. In the spirit of our chapter's goal, today we have invited two distinguished presenters from one of them is from Nepal. He has expertise on many things, and especially to the paper that he is talking about. And then the other one is a scientist from NASA. So before we go in detail, I would like to invite President Thakur Dakal to give us a welcome speech and organize an introduction, and then the overview of this program. Mr. Thakur.
Thank you, Gidendraji. First of all, dignified guests, presenters, professionals, leaders from the society, media representative, and ladies and gentlemen. My job is to welcome you, so I would like to welcome you all for making this great event a success. We are in the beginning of the program, so I don't want to take a lot of time because you are not able to listen to my speech, but there are interesting speeches after me which you are waiting for. So, first of all, I would like to brief the overview of our today's program. After my presentation, I would focus on what our organization is and what are the organization's work in the past, the history, and what we are here for. And after me, Professor Jagannath Seshta will present a paper titled Energy Scenario and the Way Forward to Minimize Load Shedding in Nepal, which sounds very interesting and very relevant. And also after that, Dr. Loknath Lamsa will present monitoring air pollution from space, which is, I think, very interesting. You would also like to hear that. And after that, there will be, after each speeches, you will have some time to discuss, ask questions to the presenter, and interact. And we will also be waiting for our founding president, Dr. Ramesh Malla. He will be here at any time. He just landed in Reagan International Airport. And then after that, if there are any representatives from embassy, we will give them a chance. And our program will end. So, let me present you some introduction about the American Society of Nepali Engineers. This is civil related or mechanical related engineers group, but that's not true. We are a broad spectrum of engineers, scientists, and technological related professionals, and all around the US. And we have a central committee, we have a DC chapter, and we are in the process of forming other chapters all over the US. So let me introduce my team first to see who they are. I am president of DC chapter, and my background is project management, but I am working in the stormwater management sector. I have Vice President Santosh Rakal, who is he is civil engineer and he works in highway related area. I have Secretary Dipendra Pokhrel. Dipendra is electrical engineer and working in orbital science. And I have treasurer, I have not seen him yet, Salik Wagle. He is computer programmer and IT related professional. Similarly, I have Mangal Maharjan, who is in solar engineering field. And I also have Yuvraj Buratogi. He is immediate past president, and he is a civil engineer. And we didn't have other present in the room. They are Rajan Tamrakar, who works in wastewater field, and Deepak Koirala, who is in transportation engineer. I think that's it. And Prakash Khanal, who is on the way to come here. We'll see him in a minute. So basically, our objective is to provide common platform to all people of Nepalese origin, interested, have expertise and training in any engineering, scientific or technical areas to gather and share knowledge. and to facilitate for their increased contribution to the research, training, practice, and technology transfer for the benefit of humanity. The society shall operate in scientific and engineering research and educational purposes. The purpose, next, to bring together Nepalese professionals, collect, disseminate, and exchange technical knowledge to inspire, empower members, community members, advance the professional well-being and success. This is a little bit boring. I just read it down to the bottom. Foster scientific and engineering research education, foster collaboration. To recognize members and their individual and organizations, to promote engineering, scientific and technological advancement in Nepal, to provide advice to public, corporate and government agencies. Next. American Society of Nepalese Engineers bylaw and website was first published in 2007. Then society formed steering committee officers elected under leadership of Ramesh Babu Malla, September 2007. I have two members today here, I guess only one member present right now, who was in the executive committee. Yuvraj Boratoti, would you stand up? He is a founding executive member. And other founding member was Prakash Khanal. When I see him, I will introduce you. And registered non-profit in South Carolina in September 2007. Bylaws approved by Steering Committee January 2008. First annual conference and meeting that was held in Baltimore with ANA convention, you remember, in 2008. An election was conducted and first board of directors were selected in July 2008. Then second annual conference was in Oakland in 2009, California, and we participated in Nepali Mela in Chicago, received federal IRS non-profit tax-exempt organization in 2010, and we started publishing newsletters since 2009, sorry. In March 2010, we launched ANMF, American Nepal Medical Foundation, American Society of Nepalese Engineers, and CAN USA joint initiative on earthquake preparedness and disaster relief in Nepal. This is the most important thing we are doing since then, and we have advanced a lot, and we are taking a major role in earthquake preparedness and disaster relief in Nepal. Then third annual conference in Boston with the ANA convention, second election held, and we selected board of directors and executive members. And again, Nepali Mela 2010 in Chicago, Engineers Night in Greater Washington, D.C. This was the initial point we started grouping together. In 2010, we organized an Engineers Night, and we started forming a group, and later on we formed as a DC chapter of American Society of Nepalese Engineers. Then fundraising for Japan Tsunami 2011 policy guideline created for local, state and regional chapters. According to that chapter, we were approved as established as a Greater Washington DC chapter in 2011. And membership outreach that was in two programs in Houston, Texas, as well as in Virginia. Guidelines for award grants. Every year we have a scholarship package. We give 2, 3, 4 students from Nepal who do better from Puchok as well as the other engineering colleges. American Society of Nepalese Engineers led to organize sessions on joint earthquake preparedness. and 5th National Annual Conference. This is also another most important event we had in Greater Washington DC area. I just saw Mr. Ramesh Babu Malla. I would like to call him to the dais. Mentioned right here in Leesburg, Virginia. And third election was held, and we had board of directors, executive committee, and so on. Okay. And another important thing, we are taking a lead on. Lead on activities on
earthquake preparedness.
Earthquake preparedness initiative. Thank you. And chaired by Dr. Ramesh Babu Malla, and he is preparing his position paper. And we published 2 articles on earthquake preparedness in Nepal. Initiated collaborative working relation with Institute of Engineering, NAST, and NSET. And we have total member. This is as of last convention, 235, and we might have more than now. Currently, American Society of Nepalese Engineers from most states of the US and some provinces from Canada. Okay. Membership grade. We have 4 membership types. Students are free membership; they don't pay due. And general member, they pay $20 a year. A senior member pays $25 a year, and fellow member pays $30 a year. And life membership are $500 for general member, senior member $400, and fellow member $300. I think that life membership seems a better deal. Executive committee members. We have these executive committee members, and we used to have Vice President Jagannath Vivere from this area. He just moved to Texas. Now, I am in the page where current board of BOD, Board of Directors members. Among them, I would like to introduce some members who are present here. Mr. Kulmani Acharya, who is Board of Directors. Mr. Rishi Baral. Mr. Santosh Dakal. Ms. Arvina Shrestha, she said she won't be able to come here today, so she's not.
Now we will go to the presentation. The first presentation is on energy scenario and way forward to minimize the setting in Nepal. It's presented by Professor Jagannath Shrestha. Let me introduce him. Professor Shrestha is the president of Nepal Solar Energy Society, visiting professor of Center for Energy Studies in Starlington Institute of Engineering, Tribhuvan University, and Pragya at Nepal Academy of Science and Technology. Professor Shrestha is also a former director and founder of CES in Institute of Engineering, Tribhuvan University. He had many important posts, for example, assistant professor, department head of electronics engineering, and assistant in Institute of Engineering from the years 1972 to 2012. He received a Master's of Science in Engineering, Electronics and Telecommunication from Moscow Institute of Telecommunication in 1972. He also received a Master's degree in Education Technology.
First of all, I would like to thank Greater Washington DC, American Society of Nepali Engineers, for providing me an opportunity to share some of my ideas with you this afternoon. By the way, I see all Nepalese faces Can I speak in Nepali?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. So if you do not understand Nepali, ask me a question, no problem. Okay. So the talk is about energy scenario and way forward to minimize load shedding in Nepal. First of all, your whole energy scenario I have just 25 minutes, about 100 slides. I don't know how much I will be able to deliver, but I will try to show very important slides and explain. Okay, so this is an art by night, 4 years old later, 4 years old. And if you come to this Asian continent, you see that India is so bright now. But just the Nepal side, you see that. So it's a load shedding going on. And if you look at the world scenario, still today, almost electricity coming from mostly from 80% from fossil fuels. Only 20% is from renewable energy and the hydro. So how much we are dependent on fossil fuel and whether we have a reliable future or not, you can take yourself. And there is a publication by UNDP that correlation between Human Development Index and the energy consumption is directly correlated. And this is 2007 and 8 data. And recently also Nepal has slid down to 148 or 152, but more or less that is same. So Iceland is number 1, Human Development Index. It indicates only 3 things: how educated you are, how much you make money, and how long you live. This is the Human Development Index. And Iceland is number 1. Nepal now is around 150. So if you look at the energy consumption in Iceland, is almost 30,000 kilowatt hour. This is in 2004. Same is the case now also, a little bit more. And Nepal is 86 kilowatt hour also. So the income here, purchasing power parity, in Iceland is more than 36,000, and in Nepal it's around 1,500. This is purchasing power parity, okay? So the energy consumption, and this is being correlated. Therefore, development is also a function of energy consumption. Now, prestigious organization, IEEE, 99% of the fellows think that the energy will be the fastest growing area in times to come. This is actually what is happening also. Now, if you look at our energy scenario, according to Economic Survey of Ministry of Finance, 2013, the estimated Nepal energy supply balance is like, this is about 101 million tons of oil equivalent. This is in thousand, okay? So 10 million tons of oil equivalent. Almost 85%. 84% is still from traditional. And this is from fuel, agriculture, and animal. And commercial is just 15%. 15%, and that comes to also from petroleum products, coal, and electricity. This is less than 3%. And so much about is being created about the electricity development. And another wing is renewable. In 2012-13, estimated in 76,000 tons of oil equivalent, mostly from biogas, microhydro, and the solar. Today, I'm talking about solar. How can we use solar electricity to reduce our load shedding? Now, if you look at the scenario, how renewable energy technology developed in Nepal. In 1981, we had almost nothing, few biogas plants. And slowly we improved. And in 1996, Nepal established APC, Energy Promotion Center. And in 1998, we established Center for Energy Studies. And with these two organizations, the growth of renewable energy is like something like exponential. And in 2012 and 13, it's 76,000 tons of oil equivalent coming from renewable energy sources, mostly from biogas, microhydro, and solar. So, where do we spend the energy being generated in Nepal? So, energy consumption, this is little of all data, but the scenario is almost same. Energy consumption, it's from 2008 and 7, similar data now also, that almost 90% energy we consume in residential area. And industry, commercial, transport, agriculture is the rest 10%. In advanced country, like in the United States, the 10% is in residential area and the 90% is here. So therefore you see, energy equation in Nepal is totally wrong, upside down. That's why things are not being done the way it should be done, because energy equation is wrong. So, according to 2011 census data, 67% of the households do have electricity, but not light most of the time. And kerosene is also being used for lighting, and solar and biogas is also used for 7% and 2%, but very little, but it has good impact. And I would like to draw, during my talk, your attention about the cooking also. As per firewood is the main source for cooking, but the LP is coming. 21% of the households are using LPG. I will tell you later on what impact it will have in our country where we do not produce LPG. Okay? And very few of us, less 0.08%, they use electricity for cooking. And one thing is great in Nepal is, almost 70% of the people do have mobiles. They don't have toilet, but they have smartphones. And 18 hours in 2009, 18 hours a day. Now, today, as of January 2014, 12 hours a day. Actually, it is not 12 hours a day, it's more. I have electricity. If you don't have electricity, we cannot communicate. So it is actually 18 hours or more than that. So this is the scenario. Now, there was a power summit in 2008 in Nepal, and the conclusion was to export electricity to India. And there was a cartoon, Lasunus, Nepal, who is currently king. And so much. And very interesting, another thing, see, in 20 years we will have 28,000 megawatts. So these are the things that we get. But good point also, in recent Constituent Assembly election, major political parties, they have indicated in their political manifestos. Well, compared to previous manifestos, it seems relatively encouraging, but whether they will be able to achieve it, I'm not sure. Then, 3 years ago, we conducted a small survey. What are the disturbances due to load shedding? And it's about 342 houses we surveyed from Kathmandu, Bhaktapur, and Nalipur, mostly middle-class people. And they said, the impact is on education and study, 90%. And then water supply, बिजुली आएन पानी तान्न सकिँदैन बिजुली हुँदाखेरि पानी आउँदैन पानी हुँदाखेरि बिजुली नआउँदैन there is a big problem and loss of work capacity income 80% difficulties in food storage disturbance and so the education and the water supply is here in trouble. And then we also ask what are the appliances they use, lighting is 93% they use. And after lighting, they give priority, most important, computers, laptops are coming up. Then TV, then water pump, and so on, so on, so on. So the light is a problem, and which can be solved very, very easily. I will show you. And we also ask them, how do you manage during load shedding? So 54%, they said they use inverter and battery system. This is a very lossy system. And 31%, what to do? We have the inconvenience, what can I do? PV battery system and no diesel generator also use, petrol, LPG also use. And we also ask how much will you pay for 24/7 condition for reliable electricity? 74% of the respondents said that they are willing to pay 10. That time, the average cost was 6.25. So they are willing to pay even 10, 74%, if we can provide 24/7 reliability. So the people are there willing to pay money if the electricity quality is good. And then we went to member of Constituent Assembly. 82 responses we got. And we asked the same question, what do you do during board setting? See, this is multiple choice, so the percentage will not have to compare. So 60% out of 82, 49% of member of parliament said they use inverter. And the 24, they can. And 22, emergency lamps. And the large ones. You know, one MP, he used 2 kiosks. I tell you here that one MP was a Minister of Environment, Science and Technology. This is the issue. He wrote me in writing, I used 2 kiosks. And the solar electricity based home system are used by only 15 MPs. Then I thought, you know, we engineers, we are Institute of Engineering, talk so much about renewable energy. We have not been successful to convince the MPs, then what about other people? So we also asked them, how do you manage during load setting? You know, so 54%, they said they use inverter and battery system. This is a very lossy system. And 31%, what to do? We have the inconvenience, what can I do? PV battery system and no diesel generator also use, petrol, LPG also use. And we also ask how much will you pay for 24/7 condition for reliable electricity? 74% of the respondents said that they are willing to pay 10. That time, the average cost was 6.25. So they are willing to pay even 10, 74%, if we can provide 24/7 reliability. So the people are there willing to pay money if the electricity quality is good. And then we went to member of Constituent Assembly. 82 responses we got. And we asked the same question, what do you do during board setting? See, this is multiple choice, so the percentage will not have to compare. So 60% out of 82, 49% of member of parliament said they use inverter. And the 24, they can. And 22, emergency lamps. And the large ones. You know, one MP, he used 2 kiosks. I tell you here that one MP was a Minister of Environment, Science and Technology. This is the issue. He wrote me in writing, I used 2 kiosks. And the solar electricity based home system are used by only 15 MPs. Then I thought, you know, we engineers, we are Institute of Engineering, talk so much about renewable energy. We have not been successful to convince the MPs, then what about other people? This is an example from Boston. Suman Powell, my friend, in Arlington, in both Massachusetts, they are using the solar home system. And the analysis is that the total cost of the system is like something like $15,000. And there is a subsidy and 50% subsidy. And the insulation, solar insulation is half of what is in Kathmandu, in Nepal. And the cost is also much cheaper. Therefore, if in the United States these people can get 50% subsidy, why not in Nepal? The question is, most of the experts in the World Bank and some donor countries, they are very much against the subsidy in Nepal. I am also against subsidy in Nepal. But my thing is, They can have subsidy in the United States, and they say that the developing countries should not get subsidy. How far it is, I don't know. And also, electricity cost in Boston, average cost is 17 cents per kilowatt hour. There is a delivery price and a supply price. No? So the delivery is almost 8 cents each. And there is a tax also for renewable energy and energy conservation. For each of them they pay. So, and this is my slide, one last slide, not last, but important. In 2011 and 12, NEA had almost 2.3 million consumers. Out of that, 94% is domestic, and the industry is just this much, 36%. And in industry, they use 1125 gigawatt hour, and in domestic sector, the rest. The total is about 3042 gigawatt hour. My logic is, out of this consumer, 54%, that means 12 million people, they use electricity 20 units or less per month, per household. And 3 lakh people, they use about 75. And if you do add up this, we can save 555 gigawatt hour. So this can be achieved just supplying 100 watt system, 100 watt PV system.
Thank you, Professor Sester, for live presentation. Since we went a bit longer, I will take one question for Dr. Sester,
Okay.
for Professor Sester. Do anybody have any questions?
Yes.
Professor Sester, you mentioned the leaders, our government leaders. They use only 18% of solar energy.
Yes.
What is their why they are using so little? Why aren't they using more? Is there some disadvantage using solar energy? Yes.
First up thing, when I asked them why are you not using solar, they said we don't know. We don't know such technology exists. That is one reply. And another reply is no, it is too expensive. They thought that they have to spend 50,000-60,000 rupees, and that might last only 3-4 years. So that's also not true. The thing is that we have not been able to convince the politicians. Then how can we be able to convince the ordinary people?
So
but they are slowly learning.
So that means education, basically. Lacking education.
Of course. Yes, please.
यो पर युनिट कस्ट जुन भन्नुभयो
हजुर
नेपालको परिप्रेक्ष्यमा मात्रै महँगो हो कि अरू देशमा पनि महँगो पर्छ
इलेक्ट्रिसिटीको
होइन सोलरको कम्पेरेटिभली पर युनिट कस्ट चाहिँ महँगो देखियो सोलर नेपालमा स्पेसली त अरू देश चाइना इन्डिया अथवा अरू देशमा पनि महँगो पर्छ कि हाम्रो परिप्रेक्ष्यमा मात्रै महँगो
होइन उनीहरुका जहाँ सब्सिडी दिया छैन हैन सब्सिडी चाहिँ माइनस गर्ने हो भने त कस्ट अलमोस्ट सेम हो एभ्रीवेयर जस्तो मैले बोस्टनको एउटा एक्जाम्पल दिएँ नि मेरो सुमन पौडेलजीका उसका 3 किलोवाटको सिस्टम राखेको छ टोटल कस्ट चाहिँ मार्केट प्राइस चाहिँ अराउन्ड $16,000 हो है उसलाई चाहिँ $8,000 मा दिए 8,000 एकैचोटि क्याश गर्नु पर्दैन महिनाको $24 मात्रै तिर्नु र कम्पनीले भनेको छ एभरेजमा पर मन्थ 80 युनिट जनरेट हुन्छ जनरेट भएन भने कम्पनीले उसलाई पैसा तिर्छ र जनरेट भएको बढी उसले इन्जेक्ट गर्यो भने इन्जेक्ट गरेको उसको नेट मिटरिङ छ कि नेट मिटरिङबाट र सोलरबाट बाँकी कटाउँछ बाँकी भएको प्लस पोजिटिभ हो भने उसले पैसा पाउँछ जस्तो सेप्टेम्बर 2013 मा सुमन पौडेलले $60 कमायो उसले कमायो हामीले नेपालमा के भनिरहेछौँ भने जल धेरै पैसा आम्दानी हुने उनीहरूले त 10-20 किलोवाटको आफ्नो बगैँचामा घरमा राखेको छ दे आर इन्डिपेन्डेन्ट मैले भने के भने 1 किलोवाटको कसैले राख्न दिउँ त्यो 2,50,000 मैले आउँछ भनेपछि उसले ब्याट्री युज नगर्ने हो भने दिउँसो उसले इनर्जी बेच्छ तपाईँको घरको मिटर छ नि उल्टो घुम्छ उल्टो अनि राति उइसित किन्ने सुल्टो घुम्छ उल्टो र सुल्टो चाहिँ माइनस गरेर प्राधिकरणलाई प्लस तिर्नुपर्छ भने तिर्नुहोस् हाम्रो हिसाबले 99.9% हाउसले प्राधिकरणलाई तिर्नुपर्ने हुन्छ प्राधिकरणको इन्जिनियरहरू के भन्छ भने हामी कुनै हालतमा पैसा दिँदैनौँ अनि नेट मेट्रिङ त हुन्छ त्यससम्म विचार गरौँला किन हामी कहाँ अरू युनिभर्सिटी
Next, I want to recognize some guests today. I request them to stand up on their own seat, and I want to recognize them. Then, Mr. Vinay Orao. Dr. Gopi Reddy. I want to give him just a couple of minutes, 1 or 2. Thanks.
Thank you, Kennedy. I don't take more than 3-4 minutes. So, Happy New Year for everybody. So, what I'm going to share with you, we are going to organize one international conference in Nepal in October 2014. So, the title of the conference is basically related to the sustainable wastewater treatment and resource recovery. This is a joint initiative with the 4 different organizations, International Water Associations, Kathmandu University, IIT Kanpur, Indian Institute of Technology Kanpur, and Harbin Institute of Technology in China. So, the brochure is on the registration date here. Please help yourself. And so, I'm requesting here for you, basically, so for all of you, this is the first time the conference in Nepal going to be held in the wastewater area and sanitation. So, I'm requesting here for you either contributing the papers or attending the conference or circulating this announcement. So, to your colleagues, to your connection or professional organizations, that would be great. If you have any questions, anything, please let me know. So, all the phone numbers and the emails are here. The website is iwa2014nepal.org. So, thank you and have a good day.
Thank you, Mr. Vipin Pathak. I also want to recognize our another guest, Dr. Ramesh Pandit. Now we are going to our next presentation. It's on subject monitoring pollution from space, and it's by our young Nepali scientist working in NASA. Let me introduce Dr. Lokanath Lansad. Dr. Lansad is a research scientist at NASA Goddard Space Flight Center in Greenbelt, Maryland. He received an MSc degree in physics from Cuban University in 1998 and PhD degree in atmospheric science from Institute of Remote Sensing, University of Bremen, Germany in 2006. From 2006 to 2010, he worked as a postdoctoral fellow at Dalhousie University, Halifax, Canada. His research areas include development of scientific algorithms to derive atmospheric trace gases from satellite instruments, evaluation of satellite data, interpretation of satellite observation for various applications, and contribution to mission design for future.
I would like to thank the Society for organizing this wonderful program and also by introducing me about this organization, because I was not actually knowing that this organization even exists. I would like to thank Thakurji and Pokharji for introducing that and then inviting me for the program. Basically, I realized that this topic is very different, for you, because these courses are not available in Nepalese curriculum. So I have tried to make this presentation as simple as I could. Let me know if it is too naive or it's too complicated. I'll try to explain as far as I can. So, title is Monitoring Air Pollution from Space. First, I will begin with a very basic introduction about the atmosphere. So, as we know, atmosphere is a very thin layer of gases that surround the Earth. It provides us oxygen and protects life in the Earth. It absorbs solar radiation and moderates climate. About 99% of gases is oxygen and nitrogen, but we don't really care about those gases. We really care about only 1% of the gases, which includes methane, carbon dioxide, ozone, sulfur dioxide, and so forth. The concentration of these gases are changing because of human activities, and some of the changes are linked to climate change and some are linked to air pollution. The atmosphere has several layers. The layer which is close to the Earth's surface is called troposphere. I may use this term very often. And then the layer above troposphere is stratosphere. Troposphere extends from surface to about 10 to 17 kilometers depending on where we are. And stratosphere extends up to 50 kilometers from the top of troposphere. And the layer between the two regime is called tropopause. And I might use these terms so in case you are confused later. So the system, our atmosphere system is really complicated. We have a system that covers land and ocean with the atmosphere. Over land we have forest, we have land, we have desert, we have cities, we have lots of industries. We have various means of transportation like buses, cars, and trucks. On land, we have ships over ocean and airplane in the air. So we have means of transportation everywhere, basically. And all these systems, all these emit radiation, emit gases and pollution, which affect ourselves. So it causes pollution on regional scale and global scale. They also cause climate change because these gases trap radiation. And some of these gases have very long lifetime, and they actually could go all the way up to the stratosphere, and they can deplete ozone, lead to ozone hole. And many of these gases are trapped in the boundary layer, which is basically from surface to all the way up to 1 kilometer. And that's the air we breathe up every day. And large scale convection transport this pollution to higher altitude, and at those altitudes the wind speed is very high, and those pollutions can be transported to long distances. And that's where transboundary pollution comes. That means the pollution produced in one country can affect the pollution in other countries. The effect is such that the pollution produced in China can impact the air in the US. So we can imagine how big the impact would be if we are actually located between two countries which are producing lots of pollution. This is solar spectrum. Solar spectrum between 400 nanometer and 700 nanometer. We have visible, so you can see this radiation. Higher up, you can feel the radiation heat. Below, we cannot feel and see. And radiation between 10 and 400 nanometer, it's called UV, extreme ultraviolet. Extreme ultraviolet, UVC, UVB, and UVA. Our skin produces vitamin D from UVB. So, and UVA is good if you want tan, otherwise it's not really beneficial. But in general, the UV is very harmful to human health because more UV would mean more skin cancer. We have ozone in the layer in the stratosphere. This ozone absorbs all of UVC, most of UVB, and part of UVA. So that's why ozone in the stratosphere is actually a lifesaver. And if there is less ozone in the stratosphere, that means more UV at the surface and more cancer. So the ozone in the stratosphere is known as good ozone. But at the same time, the ozone, which is near to the surface, produces smog. It has other health impact. So it's called bad ozone. So depending on where it is located, ozone can be good and bad. Certain pollutants are very harmful to human health and environment and can cause proper damage. And these pollutants are called criteria pollutants. And WHO, EPA, they all regulate and set certain limits on those gases. So these are the criteria pollutants, the sources, and the limit. And the limit can be hourly average or it can be annual average. What does this mean? This means it's not safe to be exposed to the concentration above its limit. 7 by 7 kilometer. That means you can actually see the pollution of small cities. And in the next few years, we are going to have a pollution measurement from space, from geostationary satellite. They are going to provide high resolution, but at the same time, they will provide measurements on every hourly basis. So lots of things are coming out in the future. So satellite actually doesn't measure the pollution concentration directly. All it provides is the measurement of reactants and radiance. So the sun coming to the Earth atmosphere and going back to satellite. So that's called radiance. The radiation coming directly from the sun to the satellite is called irradiance. So the bottom here shows the irradiance in orange color, black is the radiance. So there are lots of structures there, and those structures are coming mainly from the sun's atmosphere. But you can create the difference in the intensity. So those intensity differences come because of the fact that one is reflected radiance. And if we take the ratio of these two, you can see lots of structure there. So the wave-like structure there, that's the absorption by Earth's atmosphere. And depending on the yellow region, that's where ozone absorption takes place. So if you have less ozone, the amplitude is smaller. And if you have more ozone, you have larger amplitude. And we analyze that based on the information about gases we have, and then we can calculate how much gases are in the atmosphere. So they rotate around Earth, going from North Pole to South Pole. So they measure pollution only one time a day. And in a few years, actually from 2018, we are going to have satellite, a new system of satellite measuring pollution from space. That's from geostationary satellite, where the satellite instrument will be looking at a certain place and will be measuring pollution every hour. And so there are 3 confirmed missions. One is US mission, TEMPO, will be measuring pollution only over North America. We have Sentinel-4, that's for Europe. And most importantly, JAMES, it's South Korean mission. And this is going to provide the measurement over this domain. So lucky we are there. So in next 4 or 5 years, we are going to have measurements every hour over the entire country from the SEM satellite instrument. So it's free. We don't have to pay a dime. And we just need to train graduate students to interpret the data. So with this, I stop here. Thank you very much for attention.
Thank you, Dr. Wansat. I'll take only one question because of the time. Anybody has any questions?
So what are the parameters you are able to identify from the satellite imagery?
From satellite, as I mentioned, ozone is there always. So, but other than that, we can measure aerosol. We can measure most of the gases, basically, which are relevant for human health. There are lots of things like we can determine cloud, so that's useful for weather things. Basically, lots of things which has absorption, so which can affect the radiation. We can retain, we can obtain the information which impact the radiation. So basically, lots of things.
Can you also measure the particulate matter like PM 2.5, PM 10, size then?
Yes.
Right.
So actually, satellite measures aerosol optical depth. Doesn't provide concentration, PM concentration, but we can combine information coming from different sources. Like we can use a model to know the particular distribution of particles, and then combine that with the satellite observation. So that will allow us to calculate particle positions. That is very useful product, and now people can start to use it. They didn't know before. Now we are trying to sell this product. Sell means say don't get one.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I think we can talk offline too. So thank you, Dr. Lanza, for your I just wanted to remind you we have only a couple of speakers from now on. We have to start at 4:30. So please remain within your time limit. The next is our founding president of American Society of Nepali Engineers. I'd like some remarks by Dr. Manaswamy. And time 5 minutes.
Okay, that's a long time. I'm really so happy to be here today. Thank you very much, Thakurji, for inviting me. Thank you for the Washington, D.C. chapter of American Society of Nepali Engineers. It's a great place to be here. I was here 2 years ago. I think they were just starting to have this chapter. It was a really great moment. And thank you for organizing the conference we had 2 years ago, right? Conference. That was a great conference, and that was the second conference we had standalone. As you know, the American Society of Nepali Engineers have conference every year. So first time we had standalone was in Houston, second was in Washington, D.C. Before that we used to have with ANA or other convention. So that was a great moment to be here that time. It was a very successful conference, as you know already. Right now we are doing a few things. One is we have earthquake preparedness in Nepal, some initiative. That's a joint initiative among the Engineer Society and CAN USA, you might have heard, the Computer Association of Nepal, and the Medical Foundation, America-Nepal Medical Foundation. So we have this joint initiative on earthquake preparedness in Nepal. That's one initiative. Another initiative which we began, the society began, was we approved to have some merit scholarship for Nepalese students who come first in entrance examination and who go to the university in engineering. So we are targeting 4 universities in Nepal. Of course, TU, 3131 University, Pokhara University, Kathmandu University, and one Purvanchal University. That's another thing is the conference. The next conference, this year conference is going to be in Phoenix, Arizona. It will be in June 21st and 22nd. So if you have time, please do attend that conference. It's going to be a very fun conference again. It will be very nice one. And of course, most of all, we like our colleagues to get involved. This is a great chance for all of us. See, this is the only way we can come up in the professional area. We can help each other. As you may know, Chinese engineers, Indian engineers, they help each other. they are going into the top level position. Nepalese engineers, I think we can do that. Not only engineers, I'm talking about faculty, academicians, other technologists, scientists, everyone else, right? So that's a great moment. I think you led the road, I would say, for opening a chapter. Now we're trying to go for Houston chapter, Arizona chapter. Chicago colleagues in Chicago are very enthusiastic for all of these things. So, just with these few moments remarks, I like to say thank you to you all again. It's very nice to see all of you. I hope I will get some.
The last speaker for today is Mr. Santosh Kakal, our Vice President of our chapter, and I invite him to give thank you and closing remarks.
For inviting me here for the closing and also vote of thanks. Before giving the vote of thanks, I just wanted to go a few things that I was noting down while I was listening to the whole seminar. This is actually a very wonderful experience for me as well. Though we are the organizer, we didn't really think it would be such an interactive and very wonderful seminar today. You can see the audience here, and when I went through the name list, that was the signing list, it was really good. There's a lot of doctors over here, a lot of professors, engineers, and professionals. What a wonderful gathering. And the best thing is I couldn't see anyone going in and out, so all of us were enjoying the presentation as well. Now let me go back to a few things that I want to say before ending this seminar. The first thing is, we organize this as an ongoing platform wherein people from various aspects of professional life can come here, share their experience, and then we also can learn. It's a learning experience. It's a two-way learning experience for engineers and professionals. So this will be ongoing. This is the first series. Actually, it's second. We had one before. Then this is a second series, and we'll try to continue this on a very regular basis. Talking about the presenters, I had met Professor Shrestha around 2003 in Institute of Engineering at Pulso. I myself, being a very enthusiast of renewable energy, especially I was in passive solar cooking at that time, I went to see what the greatest person in this Nepal who is working in this field has a feeling about this sector. Let me get some of the feelings from it. The first thing he showed me is a very energy efficient building, Pulso Engineering Campus, which was self-sustainable at that time. It was a zero emitting and I would say zero energy building, because it didn't take any energy from outside as far as I remember. They had the wind tunnel, they had solar photovoltaic, they also had a hydropower system on site. I was saying, wow, what if we can replicate this in every ministry of Nepal? Then triple down from there. Every ministry, every government offices, and then go back to the residential buildings. It would really work. And seeing the cost of construction of about 1 crore rupees per house in Kathmandu, I fully agree with you, sir. 10 lakhs is nothing. And payback period is less than 5 years. 3 lakhs. Less than 3 years or 4 years of payback period, which is the best investment a Nepalese can make in his lifetime. So I would really appreciate on your presentation that how we can also be here. Having said that, I would like to extend the thanks from all the engineering community over here for Professor Shrestha to come here for in our invitation and give a wonderful presentation regarding the Nepalese energy scenario and make all of us aware what is exactly needed in Nepal and how the policy should be implemented in future. Hopefully, we will take this message and start talking to other our colleagues, anyone. So this will actually give a voice in yourself back to Nepal and force our parliamentarians and lawmakers to actually implement the policy and make Nepal a very energy-friendly country. Thank you very much. Our second presenter, well, I I was very, very skeptical when I first heard about the topic. I said, what am I going to learn here? I mean, it is totally out of like the field I am working in. I mean, monitoring of pollution, that's something we just maybe learned a few hours in college and then never even thought about it. But let me be very frank. It was an eye-opening moment for me when you were presenting. You were talking about the ozone. When I was in high school, they talked a lot about ozone and how we were polluting, and they were talking about CFC and all the bad stuff that we were making to make the world a very bad place. The good thing is, the ozone is stabilized. It's decreasing. What a wonderful thing. So we don't really have to actually teach anyone saying like, you know what, we are polluting more to actually have more bigger hole in ozone. That I didn't know, to be very honest, and it's a really, really good thing to know. Actually, we are doing something to correct the mistakes that we made. And that is one of the good things. And second thing is, I also realized what a wonderful topic it was. Pollution in Nepal. I went to Kathmandu a year back. I couldn't really breathe properly. Isn't that a pollution? That is, right? No one wants to walk on the road. We can't. It's an air-conditioned city and you can't see people walking on the road. Can you imagine? We have a beautiful river passing through the heart of the city. And no one wants to look at it. We talk about great rivers like Thames and others. What about our own beautiful Bagmati river? That is pollution, right? So the best thing is if we can monitor this and if you get the free information as you have taught, I think we can put that in school curriculum sometime and make everyone aware how much we are polluting. That might be one thing that actually helps us preventing the pollution. So the topic itself was a very, very nicely chosen and well presented. Thank you very much, sir. I would also like to take a moment to thank our own Dr. Mother for coming here and sharing his thoughts with us. With our short invitation, he made a time in his busy schedule to spare a few hours to be here with us and provide inspiration and motivation to move forward. Thank you very much, sir. I would like to thank a few other individuals and organizations that actually helped us in this seminar today. I would like to thank the Arlington Library for providing us this space free of cost for today's presentation, which is wonderful, and we have been using their facility for time and again. I want to thank them for this event. I would also like to thank Mr. Vishwaraj Thapa, who is representing Nepalese.com plus dcnepal.com today. Actually, it's very, very wonderful to have you here and cover the whole event as our media person. Please stand up. Mr. Thapa has been with us since our very initiation of the program, since Engineers Night. He has been covering all our programs. He goes to the media and let people know about the program, what we are doing and what we are here for. So I hope we'll be having you in our next program as well. Thank you. Also, I would like to thank Nepalese Embassy. Though we could not have a representation from there today, in conflict of some of the programs, and our ambassador going back to Nepal, who I think would not be here officially in the position of ambassador after getting a farewell. But anyway, we had a lot of support from the Nepalese Embassy from time to time, so I just wanted to thank them at the CNN. Now, the best thing is to thank all the people coming here and making this program successful. But we have some very core members who have been working day and night, bringing all the logistics, everything together. So without thanking them, the vote of thanks itself will be incomplete. Let me thank our own board members. Please stand up, Mr. Thakur Takal, President. And since we had a program with an earthquake going on, I want to ask our founder president, our chapter president, our chapter founder president, our whole board member over here, we actually have another program simultaneously going on in the energy sector. We have expertise here, we have the resources, we have the minds. Let's put it together and see what we can do for Nepal. Thank you very much.
That we want to give to our presenters. So I'd like to Mr. Thomas Waller to give it to them. skip. We are not done yet, so please 2 minutes. Okay, I would also like to invite Mr. Thakur Dakal here.
This is the appreciation of his time and effort coming here, and I really learned a lot of things about energy, solar power energy in Nepal. Thank you so much for educating all of us. I like to read out the certificate here. Certificate of Appreciation awarded to Dr. Jagannath Shrestha in recognition to your excellent paper presentation titled Energy Scenario and Way Forward to Minimize Load Shedding in Nepal, on a technical seminar, Engineering and Technology for Future, organized by the GWDC ASNENGR, that is American Society of Nepali Engineers, on 11th January 2014 in Arlington, Virginia. Thank you very much, Professor Shrestha.
And I would like to invite Dr. Jagannath Lamsal.
Dr. Lamsal, that was a really eye-opener seminar, and thank you so very much. It's a really very different field. I learned about the geosynchronous satellite because my PhD thesis was on space structure, a very large space structure. So I knew about the structure, not about the environment, but that was an excellent one. Again, this certificate of appreciation to you, awarded to Dr. Lamsal, PhD, in recognition to your excellent paper presentation titled Monitor Air Pollution from Space on a Technical Seminar, Engineering and Technology for Future, organized by the GWDC chapter of ASNENGR on 11 January 2014. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next, we would also like to appreciate Dr. Malla for being here. So we want to award some appreciation. I'd like President Thakur Dakal to award.
I want to read this. Certificate of Appreciation awarded to Professor Ramesh B. Malla, PhD, and as an expression of our appreciation for your support and outstanding contribution of time and energy on technical seminar, Energy and Technology for Future, organized by GWDC ASNENGR on 11 January 2014 in Arlington, Virginia. Thank you.
We also have a couple of volunteers who make this program possible. I'd like to invite Mr. Subarnapanthan. Mr. Sandesh.
Thank you.
And Mr. Newman Dakal. And thank you very much for being here today and supporting us throughout the program. Thank you.